Hey everyone, and welcome back. So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into texto pagado,
Okay.
and specifically what it has to say about why some younger women are attracted to older men.
Interesting.
And, it's not just about like a few extra years.
Yeah.
The source really seems to be pointing at some pretty specific traits that go beyond just the number on a birthday cake.
Yeah, it's fascinating how the source really jumps right into these qualities like, things like maturity, stability, a sense of groundedness, and those aren't things you just pick up, overnight.
Right, exactly.
They often come with time and experience.
Exactly, yeah. And maybe a few hard-earned lessons along the way.
Exactly.
And the source, it doesn't really hold back. It even says that younger guys are often still figuring themselves out.
Ooh.
Which, it's going to sting a little, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
But on a deeper level, I'm kind of getting this sense that it's more about, a woman's desire to feel secure, to know that, her partner has a solid foundation.
Exactly. And if you think about like some of the core needs in a relationship, trust, safety, knowing you can rely on somebody.
Right.
It makes sense that a woman, especially, a younger woman who might be at a different stage in her life, would be drawn to somebody who already embodies those traits.
Right, absolutely. And, the source even uses this interesting analogy. It describes older men as rare gems,
Okay.
kind of implying that they stand out from the crowd.
I see.
They've been refined and polished by life experience.
That refinement often translates into like a greater sense of self-awareness. They're not trying to prove anything. They're not chasing the latest trends. They're just comfortable with who they are. And that authenticity, I think, can be, incredibly attractive.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so let's talk about communication for a second.
Okay.
Because the source is making this claim that older men have a communication advantage. But it's interesting because it's not just about, being like a smooth talker, right?
Right.
It's about something deeper.
Absolutely. It goes beyond just, chatting somebody up.
Right.
It's about that emotional maturity, to be open, to be honest,
Yeah.
to truly listen, respond with empathy. These are, the building blocks of a strong, lasting connection.
Yeah, absolutely. The source actually calls it open, honest communication, a superpower.
Wow, I love that.
Right. And it kind of makes me think about, specific techniques like active listening. Really focusing on what your partner's saying, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
That's such a great example.
Right.
Active listening is a skill that really does often develop with time, with conscious effort. And it's about setting aside your own agenda and truly trying to understand that other person's perspective.
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the power of presentation, as the source puts it.
Okay.
And I know, we said it's not all about looks, but the source does really seem to emphasize putting effort into how you present yourself.
Right, and I think it's less about, chasing trends or
Sure.
spending a fortune on clothes and more about self-respect, consideration for others.
Yeah, it's like that classic adage, dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Exactly.
Right, and it's about sending the right signals,
Right.
right? Just showing that you care enough to, put your best foot forward.
Right.
The source actually uses this very vivid example of a well-dressed man at a coffee shop, polished shoes, a crisp shirt. It even mentions a watch gleaming subtly in the sunlight.
Oh, that's a nice detail.
Right.
That little detail about the watch, it suggests an attention to detail, which is, a subtle way of conveying that you take pride in your appearance.
Right. It's like these small details, they kind of speak volumes about how you approach life in general.
Yeah.
And the source seems to be implying that, older men having kind of developed their own sense of style over time might have a bit of an advantage here.
It makes you wonder if it's less about like a specific fashion sense,
Yeah.
and more about that confidence that comes with knowing what works for you.
Right, exactly. Okay, so moving on, that's really digs into how maturity plays out, in real life. And it's not about like being a stick in the mud, or anything like that.
Right.
But about, handling life's inevitable curveballs with grace, with level-headedness.
Exactly. Not sweating the small stuff, choosing your battles.
Right.
Having that that emotional resilience to kind of bounce back from setbacks.
Right, and that's going to be attracting to anyone, right?
Yeah.
Just knowing that your partner isn't going to, like, fall apart at the first sign of trouble.
Right, exactly.
The source actually describes this stability as a breath of fresh air.
Oh, nice.
And I think that perfectly captures, that feeling of relief and security.
Yeah, imagine going through something difficult, and you've got somebody there by your side who's just a steady presence.
Yeah.
A source of strength and support.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so I'm sensing a bit of a theme here, right?
Okay.
We've got maturity, we've got stability, and now the source is bringing up confidence as a major factor.
Right.
But it's not like that loud, boisterous kind of confidence, right?
It's not about that.
It's something much more subtle.
It's that quiet confidence that comes from self-awareness, accepting your strengths, accepting your weaknesses, and just knowing your value. It's not about needing that external validation.
Right.
It's about being comfortable in your own skin.
Right, exactly. And, the source even gives some concrete advice on how to project this kind of confidence, like smiling, making steady eye contact. These are things that, anyone can practice and improve upon regardless of age.
Absolutely. It's about finding that balance, between being approachable and maintaining a sense of, self-assuredness.
Right. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because the source kind of throws us a bit of a curveball here by suggesting that you should be approachable, but also maintain an air of mystery.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Right. Isn't that a bit of a contradiction?
It is a bit paradoxical, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the key here is balance.
Yeah.
Being approachable means being open, being engaging, showing genuine interest in the other person.
Right.
But you don't have to reveal everything about yourself all at once.
So, like, not spilling your whole life story on the first date.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Think of it like a captivating book.
Okay.
You want to give the reader enough in those first few chapters to keep them hooked. You don't want to spoil the ending too soon.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Yeah, it's about sparking that curiosity,
Mhm.
leaving them wanting to learn more.
Precisely.
Right. Okay, so we've got maturity, we've got communication, presentation, confidence, and a dash of mystery.
A dash of mystery.
What else does this source have in store for us?
Well, let's not forget about fun and adventure.
Oh, right.
The source suggests that older men have kind of a unique advantage in this area, being able to combine, fun with that sense of maturity.
So it's not just about hitting the hottest clubs or going on, like, wild, spontaneous trips.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's about crafting these, really meaningful experiences, drawing on a wider range of experiences,
Yeah.
showing your partner a good time in a way that just feels thoughtful and intentional.
It's like they've graduated from the party all night phase of life.
Right, exactly.
And they're ready for, something a little more enriching.
It's about quality over quantity.
Right.
Creating memories that last.
Yeah.
Sharing those experiences that really deepen that connection.
Totally. The source also makes a point of saying that older men should be upfront about their intentions in a relationship.
Okay, yeah.
Why is that so important, do you think?
Honesty and transparency, those are, foundational to any healthy relationship.
Right.
Being clear about what you're looking for, whether it's something casual or something serious,
Right.
that shows respect for the other person.
Yeah.
Helps avoid misunderstandings down the line.
It's about being on the same page from the get-go.
Exactly.
Right. No games, no mixed signals, just clear, open communication.
And that straightforwardness, I think, can be incredibly refreshing, especially in a dating world that often feels so confusing and ambiguous.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've covered maturity, communication, presentation, confidence, a dash of mystery, fun, and adventure, and the importance of, being upfront about your intentions.
Quite a list.
I know, right? What else does this source have to say?
Well, the source really emphasizes that that effort speaks volumes.
Okay.
It's not enough to, just say you care, you have to show it.
So it's not just about, grand gestures, but about those small everyday things that demonstrate, thoughtfulness and attention.
Exactly.
Right. So, like, remembering important dates, noticing when your partner needs a little extra support,
Yes.
making an effort to make them feel special.
Exactly. Those are the things that build intimacy and connection over time.
Right, absolutely. You know, it's interesting to think about how all these qualities, you know, we've been talking about, the maturity, the confidence, the communication, the effort, they're not just about, you know, attracting younger women.
Right.
These are traits that benefit any relationship,
Absolutely.
regardless of, you know, age or gender.
They're the foundations of healthy, fulfilling relationships, period.
Right. So while this source, you know, might be geared towards a specific audience, I think the wisdom it offers is really universal.
Yeah, it's about becoming the best version of ourselves, both for our own sake and for the sake of our relationships.
And it's about recognizing that, you know, personal growth, it's an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Beautifully said.
All right, so I think we've covered a lot of ground here in this first part of our deep dive into texto pagado.
It's been quite a journey.
I know, right? We've explored the source's take on, you know, what makes older men attractive to some younger women. And we've really started to unpack, I think, the deeper implications of these qualities for relationships in general.
It's been a fascinating exploration so far.
Yeah, totally. So be sure to join us for part 2,
Yes.
where we continue to delve into this intriguing topic and uncover even more insights.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. All right, see you soon.
See you then. So, you know, one thing that really strikes me about all these qualities we've been discussing, you know, the maturity, the confidence, the ability to communicate,
Yeah,
is that they actually become even more valuable as we get older.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So while the source, you know, is talking about attracting younger women, it's almost like it's accidentally laying out a blueprint for, you know, aging gracefully and building strong relationships, like regardless of who those relationships are with each.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. As we age, our experiences shape us, right? We face challenges, we navigate all these complexities, and hopefully we accumulate some wisdom along the way.
Right.
And this naturally fosters those very qualities that the source is highlighting.
It's like, yeah, it's like life itself kind of becomes this crucible for, you know, developing that maturity, a self-assurance.
Yeah.
And the source actually mentions how older men have this advantage of, quote, having been there, done that. And I wonder if that resonates with younger women, because it speaks to, you know, a certain level of resilience.
Yeah.
You know, capacity to weather the storms that someone less experienced might not possess.
That's a great point, and it ties into that deep-seated desire for, you know, stability and security that we talked about earlier.
Zach.
You know, knowing that your partner has navigated life's ups and downs,
Yeah.
it can actually create a sense of calm and confidence in the relationship itself.
It's like knowing they can handle, you know, whatever life throws their way, which then kind of frees you up to focus on, you know, your own growth and your aspirations.
Absolutely. And that leads us back to, you know, that idea of confidence. The source really emphasizes that true confidence isn't about being flashy or arrogant.
Right.
It's about that quiet inner strength that comes from self-awareness and self-acceptance.
It's like having a, you know, solid foundation within yourself.
Yeah,
So you don't need to seek that validation from, you know, external sources. I
exactly.
imagine that kind of confidence becomes even more attractive as we age, because it reflects, you know, like a journey of self-discovery and acceptance.
It suggests you've done the work. You know, you've faced your demons and you've come out stronger and more authentic on the other side. And that's incredibly powerful.
Totally.
And it allows you to show up in relationships with a greater sense of wholeness and integrity.
Okay, so let's shift gears just a little bit here
Okay.
and delve into, like, why younger women might be particularly drawn to these qualities in older men.
Okay.
I mean, we've established that these traits are valuable in any relationship. But is there something specific about, you know, the dynamic between younger women and older men that makes these qualities even more appealing?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think there are a few factors at play here, both societal and psychological. On a societal level, we've traditionally associated older men with, you know, certain roles and expectations, like being providers, protectors.
Okay.
While those traditional roles are evolving, you know, that underlying desire for security and stability, I think, remains.
So even though, you know, women are increasingly independent and self-sufficient,
Yeah.
there might still be that like subconscious attraction to someone who represents, a sense of safety and strength.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about needing a man to take care of you, financially.
Right.
But about that underlying desire to feel protected and supported.
Yeah.
Both emotionally and practically.
Okay. And older men having had more time to, kind of establish themselves in their careers and build a solid foundation in life might be perceived as better equipped to provide that sense of security.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
Of course, it's important to remember that these are just generalizations and they don't apply to everyone.
Of course, yeah.
There are plenty of younger men out there who are equally capable of, providing that stability and support.
For sure.
But the perception that older men are more likely to have, their act together might contribute to their appeal.
Right. The source also touches on this idea of communication being a superpower. I'm curious how that plays into this dynamic.
Yeah.
Do you think younger women might be drawn to like the communication style that often comes with experience and maturity?
Absolutely. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Communication is essential for navigating conflict, for resolving differences, building intimacy.
Yeah.
As we age, we tend to become more adept at expressing ourselves clearly, listening empathetically, and finding, those constructive solutions to challenges.
It's like we accumulate a toolbox of communication skills over time,
Yeah.
which can be incredibly valuable in a relationship.
Absolutely.
I can see how that would be appealing to someone who might still be developing those skills themselves.
It's like having a partner who can help you navigate those difficult conversations and build a stronger foundation for communication within the relationship itself.
The source also briefly mentions this idea of mentorship.
Okay.
Could this also be a factor in the attraction between younger women and older men?
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, the older men, having navigated more of life's twists and turns, often have a wealth of experience and knowledge to share. And this can be incredibly valuable to someone who's still, exploring their own path and figuring out their place in the world.
So it's not just about like, romantic attraction, but also about this potential for growth and learning within the relationship.
Exactly. It's about having a partner who can offer guidance, perspective, support as you navigate your own journey.
It's like having a built-in mentor.
Yeah.
Someone who can help you see things from a different angle. Maybe make more informed decisions.
It adds another layer to the dynamic.
Right.
Suggesting that the attraction might actually go beyond, the superficial and tap into a deeper desire for personal growth and development.
Okay, so we've talked about like the societal and the psychological factors that might be at play here. But let's flip the script for a second.
Okay.
And consider the perspective of the older man.
Okay.
What might be some of the reasons why an older man might be attracted to a younger woman?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's one that often gets overlooked in these discussions, I think.
Right.
It's important to acknowledge that attraction is this complex interplay of factors.
Yeah.
And there's no single answer that applies to everyone.
Right. So let's explore some possibilities.
Yeah, let's do it.
What comes to mind?
Well, for starters, there's just the simple fact that, younger women often exude this vibrancy, this energy that can be incredibly appealing. They're at a stage in life where they're, exploring new things, pursuing their passions, approaching the world with this sense of wonder and excitement.
It's like they bring a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
A reminder of, all the joys and the possibilities that life has to offer.
And being around that kind of energy can be contagious.
Right. Regardless of your age.
Absolutely. It can be incredibly invigorating to be around somebody who's, so enthusiastic about life and eager to experience new things.
And I imagine that can be especially appealing to someone who might be feeling, a bit more settled in their own life.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little stuck in a routine.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
A reminder that there's always more to discover and experience.
Okay. So we've got the vibrancy and energy factor. What else might be at play here?
Well, let's be honest. Physical attraction plays a role in most romantic relationships.
Right.
It's natural to be drawn to people who you find aesthetically pleasing.
And the source doesn't really touch on this directly.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something to consider,
Absolutely.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that, beauty is subjective
Mm-hmm.
and influenced by, a variety of factors.
Absolutely. What one person finds attractive, another might not.
Exactly.
And what we find attractive can evolve over time
Right.
as our experiences and perspectives change.
Okay, so we've got, the physical aspect of attraction.
Yeah.
Are there any other factors we should consider?
Well, there's also the idea of, shared interests and compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
While age can certainly play a role in shaping our interests and values,
Right.
it's not the only factor.
So it's not about like trying to relive your youth.
Right.
Or chase fleeting trends.
Yeah.
But about finding someone who genuinely shares your passions and interests,
Yes.
regardless of age.
It's about that spark of connection.
Yeah.
That feeling of being understood and appreciated for who you are,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of, the number on your birth certificate.
And it's about finding someone, who you enjoy spending time with.
Yeah.
Who challenges you intellectually, who brings out the best in you.
Exactly. And I think that's something that can be found in relationships of all ages.
Okay, so we've explored some of the potential reasons why both younger women and older men might be drawn to each other.
Right.
But let's address the elephant in the room here.
Okay.
The societal stigma
Yeah.
that often surrounds age gap relationships.
That's an important topic to address.
For sure.
And one that's often fraught with judgment and misconceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's crucial to approach this conversation with sensitivity and nuance.
Why do you think there's such a stigma surrounding age gap relationships?
Yeah.
What are some of the factors that contribute to this perception?
Well, I think it stems from a combination of factors, including, traditional gender roles,
Okay.
cultural norms, societal expectations.
Mhm.
Historically, we've had these very rigid ideas about what's considered appropriate or normal
Right.
when it comes to relationships.
Right.
And age has often been a defining factor in those norms.
So it's like we have these preconceived notions
Yeah.
about what different age groups should be doing,
Right.
who they should be dating,
Right.
what their life goals should be.
Exactly. And when a relationship falls outside those, narrow expectations,
Yeah.
it can trigger judgment and disapproval.
For example, there's often this assumption, right?
Yeah.
That older men should be, settling down, starting families,
Mhm.
while younger women should be focusing on, their careers and exploring their options.
Mm.
And if a relationship deviates from that script,
Right.
it can raise eyebrows.
Absolutely. And those societal expectations are often rooted in, traditional gender roles.
Yeah.
Where men are expected to be the providers, the protectors, and women are expected to be the nurturers, the caregivers.
So when an older man dates a younger woman, it could be seen as like reinforcing those traditional roles, which might make some people uncomfortable.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to be mindful of those dynamics and to ensure that any relationship, regardless of age difference, is based on mutual respect, equality,
Right.
and a shared understanding of each other's needs and goals.
So it's not about, judging or condemning these relationships outright,
Right.
but about encouraging people to, be self-aware, to communicate openly,
Yeah.
and to ensure that their relationship is, healthy and fulfilling for both partners.
Yeah, exactly. It's about promoting healthy relationships regardless of age.
Right.
And it's about challenging those outdated societal norms that limit our understanding of love and connection.
I want to acknowledge that there are valid concerns that can arise in age gap relationships,
Yeah,
particularly when there's a significant power imbalance.
of course.
Right.
It's important to be aware of the potential for manipulation, exploitation, unequal dynamics.
Right.
And it's crucial to approach any relationship, regardless of age difference, with open eyes and a healthy dose of self-awareness.
Absolutely. It's about knowing your worth, setting boundaries, making sure that, your needs are being met.
Yeah.
It's about being an active participant
Yes.
in the relationship and ensuring that it's based on, mutual respect, trust, and equality.
It's about having those difficult conversations
Yeah.
and making sure you're both on the same page.
And if there are, red flags or concerns,
Yeah.
it's important to address them, directly and honestly.
Open communication is key in any relationship,
Yeah.
but it's especially crucial when there's a significant age gap.
Right.
It's about making sure that both partners feel safe,
Yeah.
respected, and empowered to to express their needs and concerns.
Okay, so we've talked about the stigma surrounding, age gap relationships and the importance of approaching them with, awareness and caution.
Right.
But let's also acknowledge that, there are plenty of successful and fulfilling age gap relationships out there.
Of course, love and connection can blossom in unexpected places, and age is just one factor among many that contribute to, the success of a relationship.
It's about compatibility, communication, shared values, a willingness to work through challenges together.
Exactly.
And when those elements are present, age becomes, less of a defining factor.
Ultimately, the success of any relationship depends on the individuals involved and the choices they make. It's about finding someone who you connect with on a soul level.
Yeah.
Someone who makes you feel seen and understood, and someone who enhances your life in meaningful ways.
This whole conversation has me thinking about, the bigger picture here.
Okay.
We've been focusing on, romantic relationships.
Right.
But these qualities, the maturity, the confidence, the communication skills, they're valuable in all aspects of life, aren't they?
Absolutely. Think about your career, your friendships, your family relationships, being able to communicate effectively, navigate challenges with grace, project a sense of self-assuredness.
Yeah.
Those are assets no matter what path you're on.
It's like those traits become even more valuable, as we gain experience and wisdom.
Yeah.
They allow us to, navigate the complexities of life with greater ease.
Yeah.
And to build, stronger, more fulfilling relationships with the people around us.
Precisely. The more we learn and grow, the more we understand the importance of those qualities.
Right.
Not just for attracting partners, but for building a fulfilling life overall.
So it's not just about, finding the one.
Right.
It's about becoming the best version of ourselves so that we can show up fully in all of our relationships and endeavors.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
It's about investing in our own personal growth and recognizing that the qualities that make us attractive partners also make us more well-rounded and fulfilled individuals.
Okay, so we've explored the dynamics of attraction, the societal perceptions. We've even touched on, the potential pitfalls to watch out for.
Right.
But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to the source.
Okay.
And its main message.
Yeah.
What are some of the key takeaways that our listeners should walk away with?
Well, the source really emphasizes the importance of effort. It's not enough to just, say you care.
Yeah.
You have to show it through consistent action.
So it's not just about grand gestures.
Right.
But about those small, everyday things that demonstrate thoughtfulness and attention.
Exactly. It's about remembering those important dates. Noticing when your partner needs a little extra support.
Right.
And making an effort to make them feel special.
Yeah.
These are the things that truly build intimacy and connection over time.
The source even went so far as to say that younger guys often lack the maturity to prioritize those small but meaningful gestures.
Yeah.
Do you think there's truth to that?
Well, I think it goes back to that idea of experience shaping who we are, right?
Yeah.
As we mature, we learn to better understand and anticipate the needs of others. We become more attuned to those subtle ways that we can, show love and support.
Right.
It's not that younger guys are incapable of effort, but perhaps they just haven't yet developed that emotional intelligence and awareness that often comes with experience.
It's like we develop a deeper understanding of what it means to truly show up for someone.
Yeah.
As we navigate, more of life's complexities.
Exactly. And that understanding can be incredibly valuable in building strong, lasting relationships.
The source also talks about, being upfront about your intentions in a relationship.
Yes.
Why is that so important?
Honesty and transparency, those are foundational to any healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Being clear about what you're looking for, whether it's a casual connection or something more serious, that shows respect for the other person.
Right.
And it helps avoid those misunderstandings down the line.
It's about being on the same page from the get-go.
Exactly.
No games, no mixed signals,
Yeah.
just clear, open communication.
And that straightforwardness can be incredibly refreshing.
Right.
Especially in a dating world that can, often feel so confusing and ambiguous.
Okay, so we've covered maturity, communication, presentation, confidence, a dash of mystery, fun and adventure, and the importance of being upfront about your intentions.
Quite a list.
I know, right? What else does the source highlight?
Well, the source really drives home this point that effort speaks volumes.
Oh, yeah.
It's not enough to just say you care.
Yeah.
You have to show it
Mm-hmm.
through consistent actions.
So not just saying, I love you, but actually showing it.
Exactly. It's about paying attention to the details.
Yeah.
Remembering what's important to your partner
Mhm.
and making an effort to make them feel special.
Wow. We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From the specific traits that attract younger women to older men to the broader dynamics of attraction,
Yeah.
the importance of self-awareness, communication.
Mhm.
It's clear that relationships are complex and
Yeah.
multifaceted.
Absolutely. And while the source we explored today focused on, a specific dynamic, the insights we've gleaned, I think, can be applied to relationships of all kinds.
Right.
Ultimately, it's about being the best version of ourselves,
Mhm.
showing up authentically, and putting in the effort to build meaningful connections.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this second part of our deep dive.
Agreed. It's been a fascinating exploration.
Yeah,
But we're not done yet. There's still more to uncover, more insights to glean from Texto Pagado.
exactly. Join us for part 3 as we continue to unravel the mysteries of attraction, age, and the dynamics that shape our relationships.
We'll be right back.
See you soon. Okay, so we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive into Texto Pagado.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what those final takeaways are.
It's interesting to think about how a lot of these qualities that we've been talking about, the maturity, the confidence, even that ability to be both approachable and a little mysterious.
Yeah,
It's not like you just hit a certain age and boom, you got it all figured out,
absolutely not. Personal growth's a continuous process.
Right, exactly.
And while, this source might be geared toward a specific demographic,
Yeah.
I think it highlights a universal truth. The qualities that make us attractive partners also make us more well-rounded and fulfilled individuals in general.
Yeah, it's like those traits become even, more valuable as we gain experience and wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
and they allow us to navigate, all the complexities of life with greater ease and build, stronger, more fulfilling relationships with the people around us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap. What are the big, takeaways from Texto Pagado?
Okay.
What are the biggies, the things that our listeners should walk away with?
Well, first and foremost, the source really emphasizes the importance of maturity. And it's not just about age.
Yeah.
It's about how you handle those challenges, how you communicate,
Mm.
how you show up for others.
Right, and the source uses this great phrase, stability is like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about being, boring or predictable or anything,
Right.
but about being, that reliable presence, someone who can kind of weather the storms
Mm-hmm.
and provide that sense of security.
Exactly. And that ties into, the next takeaway,
Okay.
confidence. Not the arrogant kind,
Yeah.
but that quiet confidence that comes from self-awareness, self-acceptance.
And the source gives some, really concrete advice on projecting confidence too.
Yeah.
Like smiling, making steady eye contact,
Mhm.
and even, just paying attention to how you present yourself.
Right.
Simple things.
Simple things.
They can make a big difference.
Big difference. It's about conveying, that you're comfortable in your own skin, that you know your worth, and that self-assuredness, I think, can be incredibly attractive.
Right. Okay. So maturity and confidence, check and check. What else?
Communication, of course.
Right.
The source actually calls open and honest communication a superpower.
Hmm.
And I think that's spot on. It's the foundation of any strong relationship.
Being able to, express your thoughts and feelings clearly, listen actively, and create, that safe space for dialogue.
Yeah,
It's a skill that you can develop and refine over time.
absolutely. And the more we practice those skills, the better we become at navigating those complexities of relationship.
And finally, the source really emphasizes that, effort matters. It's not just about those grand gestures. It's about those small, everyday things.
Yeah, the everyday
And
things.
show you care.
Remembering your partner's favorite coffee order, sending a thoughtful text message,
Right.
planning a date that reflects their interests.
Mm-hmm.
Those little things, they add up. They create a feeling of being, cherished and appreciated.
It's like those small gestures become, a love language in themselves, a way of saying, I see you, I value you, and I'm willing to put in the effort to make you happy.
That's beautiful.
So, wow, we've covered a lot of ground here. From those specific traits that, attract younger women to older men, to those broader dynamics of attraction, the importance of self-awareness, communication, it's clear that relationships are complex. They're multifaceted.
They are. And while the source we explored today focused on a, specific dynamic, I think the insights we've gleaned can really be applied to relationships of all kinds.
Right.
Ultimately, it's about being the best versions of ourselves, showing up authentically and putting in the effort to build those meaningful connections.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into texto pagado.
It's been a great conversation.
I know, right? I always love chatting with you, and big thanks to everyone out there for listening. We'll catch you next time.